Hello, everybody. This is J Chatfield, Loving Yourself to Life here. I am feeling very awesome today. Even though the allergies are kicking in here in Texas, you know what? They come every year, but I've learned how to manage them a little bit. Maybe that's another video. But still, when I wake up in the morning, got to get rid of that excess. Y'all know what I'm talking about, those people who have allergies. Um, Something fell on my mind. It's just been on my mind for a few days, and it's called not called. This is called expectations. And I want to talk about the expectations for yourself. On this journey of loving your life, there are a lot of changes that you're going to go through on the inside. You started out the year as something or somebody else, and you're ending the year as a new and evolved person. If you've been doing the work of loving yourself, if you've been doing the work of looking into yourself and finding out who you really are, you will begin to understand that expectations are just false. To me, they're false. And there's something that we're taught to have on everyone around us. So let's look at some examples of when you know who you are, someone will expect you to do what they expect you to do based on their knowledge of what they want, not what you can bring. So it's very important that you are able to, one, communicate who you are. And even if you consistently communicate who you are, it's really hard for a person that has a certain expectation for you to understand where what they think of you fits inside of what you can do, right? So I love Ferdinand. I love that. If you've never read the book, I read the book when I was little, long, before the movie came out. Ferdinand was one of my favorite books because Ferdinand was this really, really big bull, strong, handsome, just your poster for bullfighting, right? He was just like, I know that this bull is going to bring me money. We may look at somebody on the outside in a relationship. Man, wow, he is, he's pretty sexy. And the things that he's doing, he's going to do what he needs to do for me. And of course, whatever his expectations for you is going to come back. But we're talking about this, the expectation from here, which is us. So Ferdinand, they wanted Ferdinand to fight. But Ferdinand was like, I ain't about that life. I just want to be peaceful. I want to sit in the meadows. He had this idea of how he wanted to live his life gentle, but they kept trying to have that expectation of him to be a bull, but he was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that, until finally he got what he wanted. But what I like is that Ferdinand stayed true to himself, no matter what the expectation was from whoever was trying to do it. In the movie, you got to hear all this inner dialogue and stuff like that. In the book, it wasn't that serious, but it was the difference. But you kind of heard how he kind of had this little turmoil inside, like, I shouldn't, no, I can't, I don't want to hurt anybody, I just want to help, I just love, peace. Hey, everybody, can't you just see that? So I was recently in a friendship relationship where I was looked at and expected to do something that I had always communicated that that's not my job. And it ruined the friendship because of the person's expectation for me to be where they are. And that's just not where I'm supposed to be. And even though I was like, look, this is what I'm supposed to do, because I had evolved over time into how I knew what I'm supposed to do. So I didn't want to step outside of that, because the worst thing that you can do is try to meet someone's expectation of what you aren't, because you're always going to, one, it's going to hurt you and it's going to hurt them, even if they don't understand. Like in my marriage, same thing. We had expectations of each other, and when we did not meet those expectations based on what we grew up, based on what we saw, it really hurt the marriage. And it's no secret to me that I'm continuously working on my marriage. 18 years in, still trying to figure out, because each year you become a different person. And with time, I believe older couples, sorry about the sniffing. I believe, oh, that's Vaseline, that ain't snot. I just want older couples begin to take away their expectations. And I talk to some of them, and they just say, yeah, this is her and I respect who she is. And by the time you get to 40 years, 30, 25 years in, you're like, okay, you know what I'm saying? So you cannot, in the process, any process, I don't even knowing yourself, when you've self-assessed yourself and you know what your role is in your life, that you stick to that. It's not your problem of fulfilling someone else's expectation of you. Now, what you can do is explain to them, this is what I do, but don't go outside of that. That's the thing. If you tell whoever you're in a relationship was, see, I did that. I went back and I learned you can't go outside of who you are. So once you do that and you say, this is what I'm supposed to do, then don't do that, because then you're giving that person a little bit more expectation to expect from you. Oh boy. Yeah, you're giving them more, because now you're starting to look like it, and then the next day you don't look like it. So stick to it. Now turn that on yourself, right? Let's turn that expectation on yourself. So put an expectation on you, because you're the only one that can control that. You're not asking anybody else anything but of yourself. I know some people like to set goals. Some people set little things, put little things aside for you. But if you do that for yourself and hold yourself with that same conviction of expectation that you held someone else with, then you will begin to see certain changes in your life. It's hard in the beginning, because I've been doing it. Like every day, I said I'm going to get up. I'm not going to do, and this is an expectation. Like, I know people call it whatever, but if somebody says that we're going to cook breakfast for you every morning for the rest of your life, you're going to get up every morning for the rest of your life and expect breakfast. I don't care if you're on an island. You're going to expect breakfast, because that's what they told you. Like you're going to, it's just ingrained. That's what you're going to do. So I told myself, I'm going to work on my business. I'm going to do this. And I expect me to show up for me every day within what I've done, what I've said I'm going to do for myself. And I'm not going to be disappointed, but in the expectation of me expecting of myself, I'm going to adjust myself. Now, there's a lot of things to this, because you're not used to doing it. And some people are used to doing it. Some people are used to setting these things for themselves and getting up and do it. But for people who have not done that, like me, I listen to podcasts, some self-help things, and every day it makes me want to stick to what I've said I'm going to do for myself. What the expectation that I set on myself. A lot of people say, take away your expectation. That's from other people, but not from yourself. Because you're the one who lays down with yourself every night, and you're the one, before you go to bed, of course, I like to be grateful for my day, but I'm also running around in my mind, did I do what I said I was going to do today? Right? In order to level up yourself, you're going to have to do what you say you're going to do for yourself. And if you have no idea what you should be doing, then read a book listen to some influential people, and honestly assess what they did, put it, what is it like, oh man, I lost the word real quick, like associated with your strengths. Like, I know a lot of people that like to focus on their strength and get their and make their strength stronger, and that's something that you can do. Me, I know my strength are ideas and creativity, so each day I strengthen that by trusting my ideas and creativities, not saying, oh, that won't work, that ain't gonna happen. But when I begin to write them down and I go back to them, that's what, that gets better and better, and get better and better. So now when something comes up and it needs to go or reroute, I've strengthened my creativity, and I can go back and look at, oh, you know what? This is what I did. So, and if you have a weakness, I know some people don't like to work on weaknesses, but I like to work on a weakness. And one of my weaknesses, the discipline. Yeah. I mean, I'm an open book, and discipline to just continue without an immediate result. I know a lot of us like you have continuing without an immediate result. Because that's how it is when you go into weight loss, right? You want to misplace some weight. I like to misplace weight. I don't want to find it. So when you want to misplace weight, you don't really get that until you see that first like drop. Like, I couldn't wear these pants last week. Oh boy, but sometimes you don't see an immediate result, but you got to continue to have the discipline to do what you're doing. I heard someone says you have to do what you're doing long enough for your new me to show up, but you got to outlast your old me. I love that. I love that, because your old me has been there, right? So if you're expecting to be in a certain place and go go to new heights, you have to set expectations for yourself above the old person that you were, because you're moving in a new direction. I used to hate myself. So why am I going to set an expectation to continuously hate myself? I need to do something that's going to put empowerment, life, and love into me. Right? So those are the expectations that I'm going to do. Like, I'm going to go get my eyebrows done. Yes, I am going to get because I let them grow back in. But that's, for the guys who's watching this, I want to, anyway. But that's that's a product of me saying I want to practice some type of self-care for myself every Monday. I set aside Monday for me to do something. I'm expecting me to, on Monday, to not work and to take care of myself. Those are things that you can control, and your expectation for yourself can be what you want it to be. Now, everybody has a different truth. Everybody has a different working for themselves. Everybody has a different way of making their cogs turn and their body move and their minds roll. So what you should do is just, if you are not, the biggest way, the most profound way to know if you are not to meet if you don't know, if you want to make expectation for yourself, the biggest way to know that it will work is if you're making progress. If you're not making progress and you're the same that you are 3 or 4 months ago, then you need to you need to up your expectation for yourself. You don't want to look back and say, I said I was going to run 4 miles and I haven't ran one. Well, then we need to find something that relates to you. That's something that you can do to at least get a half a mile in. Because 4 weeks ago, you weren't even doing a mile. You weren't doing anything. So now you're doing a half a mile. So let's make that expectation a little further. I'm going to walk a little bit more. And I put it into an expectation because we as a human race, that's it. We expect some people expect the government to take care of them. Some people expect the boyfriend to take care of them. And if he doesn't expect to take care of you on his own, he's not going to do that for you consistently, because that has to be from his upbringing, which we have to know that. But we put such a big a deal on expectation, and when something doesn't happen on the outside, which we have no control over, we get upset. We get fired up. Do that for yourself. Get fired up about the expectations that you don't meet for yourself. Something that you can control. That you can control. I said control, didn't I? Control. Until next time, this is Jay Chatfield, Loving Yourself to Life. Do something for you that you expect to do that only you can love. Have a love yourself day.